Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Hello and good afternoon on this TGIF. Welcome to our Friday show, where we are going to be discussing the week that was, and what a week it was. And I'm going to be joined on the show by Shelley Lewis from our news department. And we're both coming from home today. We're not sick or anything like that. We just coming from home today. But I guess we could get away with that, Shelley, on this TGIF. And as is customary, we're going to be discussing the week that was. And we are going to, of course, invite you, our audience, to be our co-host for the day. So at the very top of the show, I'm going to throw out these numbers for you to call. And they are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and our WhatsApp line is 824-9952, 824-9952. And even though I'm not in the studio, if you send us a message via WhatsApp, then Jason will just forward it to me and still be able to get it on the air. So every Friday, those of you who are regulars, you know the drill. This is the day that we reflect on the week that was, and we allow you to chime in, talk about, anything that, you want to talk about. Obviously, I prepare some clips, for the show just to make sure that in case y'all decide to hi-hat me. When was the last time you heard a word hi-hat? My grandma used to say that. Anyhow, in case y'all decide not to participate, obviously I prepare some clips, but it's not just limited to those clips that I have prepared. Whatever you want to talk about is what we're going to be talking about today. So again, the telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and our WhatsApp line is 824-9952. Now, Shelley and I have decided that we are going to make this sort of like a regular thing on Fridays, as much as her schedule allows, because it only makes sense. She is, the head of our news department at Global. So who better to, discuss the week, that was, as far as the top stories in news and social media, because she keeps up with social media far more than I do. So we just discussed it today to make this a regular thing. And you're going to see Shelley every Friday. And we're going to talk about the week that was, talk about the issues that are facing our nation. So welcome to the show, Shelley. And
thank you very much, Michelle.
Thanks for agreeing to be a part of this and making it a regular fixture of GPS. So if we look at the week that was, unfortunately, this past week was marred with quite a bit of tragedy. We saw another innocent child slaughtered in our streets. And this wasn't some little boy involved in any kind of untoward stuff. This is a good kid doing things the right way, and is killed by a stray bullet that came from a gun in the hands of a punk, in the hands of a coward, in the hands of an idiot. Because what I don't understand, y'all fellas who like to carry all these guns, if you know you can't handle losing or whatever the situation is, stay home and play solitaire. Right? You gonna go pulling gun, licking off shots, and a whole innocent 13-year-old child has to die as a result of your stupidity. This madness has to stop. It has to stop. And as we were preparing for this show, Shelly sent me another message regarding another shooting incident or another incident involving a child. Shelly, read that message that you sent to me.
Yeah, Michelle, I don't have it, but according to the reports, a group of young boys were playing on the basketball court at Grace Community Church, and that's in Marathon. The state event, many of you would know that, Grace Community Church in the afternoons, many persons outside throughout the community would gather at that basketball court, because I remember growing up in that area. In the afternoons, everyone was on the power because the church opened the yard to persons to come and, utilize the basketball court. But according to Pastor Lyle, Bethany said around 8 o'clock last evening, a young boy, he didn't say a young man, he said a young boy, came and opened fire on the group of guys who were playing on the basketball court. And boy. Two of them would take a young boy, he said, were taken to the hospital. But the conditions are known at this time. But he said, at that hour, a lot of meetings were going on. With the churches, they would normally have like youth meetings and men and fellowship and so forth. And he said it's unfortunate that this young boy had no regard for what was going on. Is on the church grounds, and he comes there and he opens fire, injuring whomever was in the line of gunfire.
So I wonder what the age of that child is, because if he says a young boy, in other words, this ain't no, teenager or man, it's a kid. So the question is, how does a kid get his hands on a gun to be able to come and shoot? This is where we live in. This is the wild, wild west.
And it was a discussion. It was like a discussion because I was following, like you said, I follow social media because I like to feel the response of persons out there. And it was sort of a mixed reaction because people were saying, Pastor said he had to close the facility because, he in fear for there's some retaliation or this happening again.
Right.
And many persons were saying, oh, the church should not close the facility. They should really go out there and minister to the young boys. But, like I say, opinions tend to differ. And I have my views on the closing of the facility to avoid such things from happening. I mean, I'm sure you can share yours.
Yeah, I understand both sides of the argument because as a pastor, he has to be concerned about the safety of his members and
himself.
But at the same time, the church is, very much needed to help to address this problem. So my grandma used to say half a dozen on one and six on one and half a dozen on the other. I can understand both positions, But our problems in this society go so much further than just the church. We have a social cancer. And when I say that, I mean that we have so many social ills that are contributing to this crime problem. It's not just poverty, because a lot of poor people are there committing no crime. They're trying to do the right thing.
Including me.
It's don't call yourself poor, girl. Don't speak that on yourself.
No, we're not committing crimes. I'm not committing crimes as being I'm not the poor part.
Okay. It's there. This is a multifaceted cancer. that
Mm-hmm.
has to be addressed with a multifaceted approach. And a part
Right,
of the problem
exactly.
is that we like to point fingers at who is to blame, not realizing that when you point at one going forward, it's 4.45, 4
Coming
pointing
back.
back, you know? But you do have some people out there who are trying to do the right thing. And yet, unfortunately, like the young boy that lost his life last week, Friday, they still
Mm-hmm.
fall victims to crime. I'm going to play a clip. This one is actually a very brief interview. As you would have pointed out to me, Shelley, they had a memorial
Vigil.
service for the young man, a vigil, a
Mm-hmm.
candlelight vigil for the young man.
Right.
And in this clip, we're going to hear from his father at that event, as well as
Oh, Lord.
the Minister of National Security.
Uh, I could hardly explain how I feel, but I just feel weak. I feel beat. Feel heavy. Feel like I've been running a mile, and it's been like this for the past 6 days. It's just a heavy. It's a heavy load. You know, because I spoke. I spoke with Quinton. Before I left for a trip to Exuma, and I told him anything he want, he must call me. Anything he need, he must call me. And he said, all right. He said, Daddy, I going to join Freedom Farm. Uh, I already gave $50. Just give me the other 50. I said, when don't I can pay everything? I supposed to pay it this week.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Now, we also have here Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe. Now, Minister, you announced in the lower chambers that you were going to put CCTV cameras on every public park in New Providence and Grand Bahama. What sparked you to announce that?
Well, if you look at Quentin was the type of a young man that we are saying you should be hardworking, into church, into school, into sports, looking to better himself. And this is a recreational facility. This is what we're talking about the young people should be taking advantage of. And so when I can be told that there is gambling on it and this type of activity, my aim, and I heard some people complain about it, my aim is to put cameras on these parks to shine a light on areas like this. Because just like cockroaches, criminals do not like light, do not like to be caught up in it. And so I've asked ACP Dames to make a survey of all the public parks which have cameras, which don't. And we will light up these public areas so that people can safely use them. This was a young man who was very promising. His talent, his promise has been taken from us, and it is my job to see that that stops.
You know, it was really very heartbreaking to watch that father struggle
Yeah.
to, to speak because of the heartbreak, the heart wrenching loss that he experienced with his 13-year-old son. Quentin McKenzie was his name. And he is just a microcosm of what we see going on throughout this country with crime and the families that are impacted.
Oh, they heard him,
Um,
yes.
you know, what are your thoughts, Shelley? I just get so tired of the same conversation. I'm tired of talking about kids being slaughtered. I'm tired. I'm
You know,
tired.
Michelle, we all are tired because it's been happening too long. And even when you reflect back to what happened in Texas with all those kids, and it brings it back home and come back home here, and you see a pattern that's developing. You know, the kids are playing on the park where, you know, it should be safe. You know, a park represents an environment for the family. And if they can't be safe there, where else can they be, you know? And we just had one on Friday and, you know, another one last evening. And, you know, we don't want to see this trend developing in the country because we're going into the summer, you know, the summer months where the kids are going to be outdoors. So how do we protect them?
You know, I am so grateful that I grew up in the era that I grew up in because we didn't have to, as children, we didn't have to worry about these horrific things that these young people are facing nowadays. We just didn't have to worry about these things. And I feel for the parents of young kids living in this world today, because it's like, how do you protect your children? How do you keep your children safe in the midst of all of this madness? I mean, in the United States, they take it to another level. They just, I mean, they, I guess because that's such a gun happy country, um, they these mass shootings and stuff that taking place over
Well,
there, but it's just so it's so I don't even know how to put it into words. The level of anger that
that's
you
in
feel.
among our young people. It is, and then we also wonder where are these kids getting these guns from? These are
But that's another
teenagers,
thing.
13. Where are they getting the guns from? Because
There's been a lot of talk lately about the United States and the Bahamas working closer together with regard to all of these guns that are pouring into our country from that country. And some have suggested that perhaps we are at the place now where we need to, all of these guns have serial numbers, and if there's a crime committed in the Bahamas with a gun that came from the U.S., you got to hold the person who bought that gun. What are your thoughts on that? I talk about
I
the person who bought
agree.
the gun in the United States.
Well, I think that is what they're trying to implement now in terms of
Yeah.
being able to trace these guns back to the owners. But remember now, at a recent press conference, the commissioner announced that these guns are being adjusted. They're erasing the serial numbers and they're adding to the guns to make them more powerful. So
Yeah.
in terms of being able to trace them back, it's going to be somewhat difficult in some instances.
We have a caller on the line, Shelley. Caller, welcome to GPS on this TGIF open line show.
Good day, Michelle. How you doing today?
Hi, right here. How are you?
All right, and good afternoon, Shelley.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, I'm JT calling in. Michelle and Shelley, so many thoughts are going through my head. Let me say in regard to your show, Michelle, while I'm doing this, would you be so kind, if you can, to pull up Romans chapter 13 for me, please, and the first 6 verses?
When you say pull it up, what you mean?
If you could find it, to read it either online or in hard copy, either one will do fine. Romans chapter 13.
Why are you trying to give me work today? If you know you didn't want scripture, you should have come here with
Yeah,
your scripture.
I wish I could recite it for you, but I can't do that.
What is the scripture?
Romans chapter 13 and the first 6 verses. But before you read it, let me say this, Michelle. Some years ago, it was said, because I didn't hear Linden himself say this, but it was said of Linden that when he was talking about freedom, he used an analogy of one being in a theater and screaming fire. He said, while you and I have the right to be in the theater, we don't have the right to scream fire in that theater unless there is a fire. In other words, the point he was making, as I understood, was your freedom and my freedom goes only as far as it is infringed upon by somebody else. Nobody's freedom is bigger than mine or more important than yours, that they have the right to infringe upon your freedom or my freedom just because they feel like it.
Right.
Right now in the Bahamas and right now in the United States, everybody, this freedom to choose is a God-given right, because God defines democracy. He gave us the freedom of will to choose to do or not to do. But so many people feel as if they can do whatever they like just because they have the right to do it, that they are now doing all of this mess in the world with callous disregard for other people's lives. And to bring it home, it's nothing but a demonic attack on humanity. Okay? All of the spirit of violence, the spirit of murder, all of these things are straight from the pit of hell. I don't even hear pastors talking much about them anymore here in the Bahamas, about stuff like that.
Mm.
But this is a spiritual attack that's going on. It's manifesting in these socially disruptive and harmful ways. But it's a spiritual attack. So this is why if you got that scripture, if y'all wouldn't mind reading it, because I want to comment on it after you do.
You say the whole
Chapter
from.
13.
No, just the first 6 verses. Romans chapter
Oh, okay.
13, the
All
first
right.
6.
It says, let everyone, this is the NIV version, New International
Yeah.
Version. It says, let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by
One
God.
second, Michelle. One
Huh?
second, Michelle. Read that second line, that second one again.
Now,
For there's
JT,
no authority.
JT, let me read through
Yeah.
this whole thing here, because I ain't gonna let you take up my whole show
All
with
right, my
this.
dear. Okay, yeah, I'll wait till you finish. My apologies.
You got other things to discuss. All right.
My
I'll start
apologies.
again. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities
Right.
that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience.
Now, Michelle, I don't think I need to say any more. I think that is self-explanatory right there. If governments of this country will only do, and families, and individuals, and societies, if we would only live by that particular scripture right there, we wouldn't have the problems we're having. When you see young people or men and women breaking the law has the moral right before God to come down hard on them. Your right, therefore, is taken away when you violate the right of somebody else. Michelle, there's so much more to say, but I'll hang up on that note because I'm a little agitated right now because of all of these things that's going on. But I wanted to put that spiritual, godly point of view out there for a lot of people to think about it because far too many of us do not know God's point of view or ignoring God's point of view, and the devil is running amok and messing up human lives all over this planet. Thank you, my dear.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, JT. Always appreciate your support. Yeah, we have a bit of a problem because I suspect we have tried to remove a key pillar that is holding up this whole thing, and that is the family structure. That's a big part of this whole thing. But back to what JT's point was just now, one of the things that Pastor Miles always used to say was that the greatest government is not the elected government in the House of Assembly. The greatest government is self-government. If you can govern yourself, then the established or the political government or the administration, whatever you want to call them, wouldn't have much to do as it relates to our safety, etc., if you would learn to govern yourself. So the greatest government on earth is self-government. And a part of the problem that we are facing is that you got a whole lot of people out there, young, old, and in between, who have not learned how to govern themselves. And they just, whatever comes goes. And on top of that, we have bred a whole cluster of people who have no empathy for anyone else. Don't care about your life. And Shelly just dropped off there for a minute. Hopefully she'll be able to come back on quickly. They don't care. They don't care about your life. Let's face it, they don't care about their own. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Michelle Malcolm, and good afternoon to your guest, Berenice Johnson, the original. I must give thanks to the Almighty God through Jesus Christ of Nazareth enveloping us in the Holy Spirit. This is a spiritual attack, and our former Commissioner Greenslade said it in Zion Baptist Church. They did not heed him. All of our police fear the Almighty God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Let me say good afternoon to my mortal boss, former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingram, God's leader's leader, who shall be a part of this unifying solution that we here in the Bahamas must become one Bahamas with the National Development Plan, and God ushered in administration led by Peter Galana's senior mentee, Prime Minister Philip Edward Brave Davis. And let me say, while I'm saying happy belated birthday, and what we are dealing with, like the Minister of National Security has now put officially on the record, transnational organized crime that entails spiritual attacks and ritualistic occult worshippings. Now, Mr. Ingram will be a part of this, like I said, and it will happen from Paul Ferguson headquarters, and condolences to all of those who have lost loved ones. And I, Berenice Johnson, can assure you the divine infinite blessings of financial freedom shall happen. All these gas increase. What do you think it is? It is an attack, because now there is something going on that in the Caribbean where they want to take prayers out of school. Can you imagine that here in the Bahamas? I won't call the Prime Minister's name. However, let me say a small tribute first to my number one lawyer. I don't know if he's able to hear me or understand. I would call him. He says, iron sharpens iron. The Honorable, most noble, John Henry Johnson Bostwick Sr. And for him, and the tribute to his wife that they mention in the House of Assembly, Mr. Bostwick, sir, I hope someone can relate it to you. Lil John Bostwick name shall be cleared because he was set up. And that will happen when we come together as one. The opposition must not be aimless. This is a budget, and we shall access the funds that is due to us. And let me say good afternoon to God's anointed, appointed 45th president and the inevitable.
Okay, Berenice, you're starting to go off track now. So wrap this up for me, please.
I close it with this, President Donald John Trump, and we shall work 100% in partnership with the 46th president. We want solution, and solution shall happen, because guess who is dealing in this? My mortal boss, former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingram. We shall be together. One.
Okay. Thank you for calling, Berenice. Thank you for calling. Yeah. We only got 2 hours on this show. Berenice. Oh, anyway, let me take this break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about the week that was on this TGIF Open Line show. You are my guest today. Come on, give us a call, 3260271, 3260272. And our WhatsApp line is 824-9952. I should have said you are my co-host today. So give us a call. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this TGIF Open Line show. You know the drill. Every Friday, we talk about the week that was with you, our special co-host, because we want to hear from you. So the telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and our WhatsApp line, 824-9952, 824-9952. Now, prior to the break, we were talking about this just madness that we are experiencing with all of this crime. Actually, the Minister of National Security has revealed that, well, not revealed because we all knew this, but has confirmed that there is an uptick in crime here in New Providence and Grand Bahama.
Hence, for the period 1st January to 31st May 2002, statistics revealed an increase of major crimes from 1,580 in the period last year to 1,872 for the same period this year. That's an overall 18% increase. It should be noted that that increase is attributable to New Providence and Grand Bahama, as the family islands actually experience a 23% decrease for the same period.
Now, those figures account for January 1st to May 31st of this year. Crimes against property have also increased by 17% in the capital and 1% in the nation's second city, while crimes against persons have also risen by 49% here in New Providence and 33% in Grand Bahama.
The incidence of violent crimes against a person rose by 45% from 508 to 315, and the numbers that everyone seems to be very concerned about, murders increased from 58 incidents from 46 for the same period last year.
So there seems to be a trend, Shelley, and I don't know if this is something that you have noticed, but it seems that when it comes to certain crimes, the police they don't seem to be reporting them on a regular basis as they would have done in the past until you see, like, for instance, in Grand Bahama, I had been hearing that there was a serial rapist in Grand Bahama, but we weren't getting police reports to that effect until they decided to announce that there were 3 violent rapes and violent in their words,
in a week.
3 violent rapes and 1 violent attack. And I'm saying to myself, why are we just hearing about this now? I mean, I don't know what's going on.
And furthermore, Michelle, they added that the police also added that there's no serial rapists out there. We're not hearing about the rapes until they really come to the forefront, and they saying there's not a serial rapist out there. But what is happening with regards to, you have 3 violent rapes within 1 week, and I'm sure there are incidents that are not reported.
I don't know. Maybe there are 3 different perpetrators. I don't know. But in any event, we should be advised about it. It shouldn't get to the point where we're just hearing about this after there have been 3. I mean, I just don't understand this.
Right.
This is not. Right. I can understand you holding back information for the sake of an investigation, perhaps, but this is becoming too much now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Very, very
strange. And then at the end of the year, around this time, you find that all the statistics, everything is up. But when did it go up? How come we were not made aware? So it's difficult to absorb information as such coming forth, not knowing previously.
Right. Well, another tragedy in the news this past week, that plane crash in Long Island, which claimed the life of a young mother. And now a lot of attention is being paid to the pilot. And Shelley, you could break this down for us. What's happening with that case?
Well, Michelle, as far as I know, the Aviation Authority, they are investigating. Like you say, the focus is on the pilot. And, we give our sincere condolences to the victim and the person's, a family and everybody, and wish the best for those persons who were injured. And we've been hearing the stories, and we know that the investigation is underway. Persons are being questioned as to what really happened on the ground during the flight and after the crash. And Delvin Major, the chief investigator, he revealed that, they're gathering information from the Federal Aviation Agency in the U.S. in terms of licensing. Now, the licensing, according to the authorities, Brad McAfee, who was the pilot, is properly licensed, and his license expires in 2025. Now, the question was also raised as to whether it was a private or a chartered flight. And, in private flights, you don't charge, as opposed to chartered flights. And that is where they were at up to yesterday in terms of trying to ascertain whether the flight was a private flight or it was a chartered flight. So as I mentioned, the investigation is underway, and still trying to determine that information from between the U.S. and there.
So does it matter what is the difference if it's chartered or paid? Why is that important to this
Well,
investigation?
it's against the law to receive funds from a private flight. If you receive, and all of this also opens the way for when you look at plane crash, you also thinking insurances and the victims. So all of this has to be investigated to determine what happens as a result of the outcome. Because if it was a private flight and funds were received, and but furthermore, the authority also says a private flight, he was licensed for a multi-engine flight. And there's a lot of technicalities in terms of aviation and so forth that you have to understand. And the lawyer was trying to explain what it is with the difference with regards to private and charter. Now, and also the fact that, so planes go with different engines, and whether you are authorized to fly a twin engine or a single engine, there's a lot. But based on the information, the investigation so far, that is better at, and they have confirmed that he was licensed to fly that plane. Now, and the next thing is to determine whether that was a paid flight or a private flight.
So that I'm understanding what you're saying, do you have to have some kind of special permit to fly a commercial flight? Is that
Yes,
what you're
special
saying?
licenses, they call it.
Okay, so now they're trying to figure out if he, in fact, did have such a license, if he collected funds for that flight.
Yes.
I see.
Right.
Wow.
So we should know that by perhaps next week.
Yeah. Well, my condolences goes out to the family of the young lady that lost her life. You're talking a young mother. And the others who were on that flight, I'm sure that they are grateful that they made it. But it must have been a very traumatic experience. It must have been an extremely traumatic experience.
Very traumatic. But I could imagine. You could only imagine.
Yeah. Do we need to tighten up our laws as it relates to, who is flying people in and out of these little islands for these events, and what needs to happen there?
Michelle, I was reading a lot on in terms of the reaction from the plane crash, and a lot of persons are saying yes. And I remember back in the day when we used to jump on those charter flights, because they had a lot of festivals and in the family islands. And you remember, even if ZNS didn't send us on the commercial Bahamas Air, we went on charter flights ourselves.
We did a lot of those little tiny planes. We did a lot of those.
Exactly. I remember one time traveling with former Minister Vincent P., and the two of us were holding against the plane. We were able to stretch out, and it was a rough trip. And you find that a lot of people during the festivals in the family islands and so forth, they would put together and charter a flight to get in and out, conveniently in and out of those family islands. Now, I used to hear that those charter flights, that is another question, whether they're covered by insurance, and what is the risk compared to traveling on a commercial flight as opposed to a chartered flight? Because you hear all sorts of stories that you travel on those charter flights, you're not covered. The insurance don't cover. I'm not saying that is what it is, but it is something that needs to be looked into as to whether they are covered by insurance.
Well, we are a very reactionary nation. We like to wait until things happen before we act. So we'll see what comes out of this. I have a comment coming in from one of our Facebook viewers. She's going back to the topic of crime. And she is saying here, I'm not surprised that all this has been brewing for a while, and now the pressure burst pipe. In my opinion, this is a buildup of displaced aggression and years of unresolved crimes within our society, and the failure of our leaders to implement harsher punishment to deter crime in this country. This is a public health issue. The extreme level of social discourse and lack of conflict resolutions, if not handled, will only get worse. There are so many facets to this problem. Sometimes you look at the size of the problem that we're facing in our society, and it's easy to get like throw your hands up in there discouraged, but we can't, because if we don't address it, it will just continue to spiral out of control. And we just have to stop pretending. And when I say pretending, we like to pretend that we don't have some issues going on in our country that we know going on. But it's easier not to look that way. It's easier to pretend we don't know that children are being physically and sexually abused in this country. It's easy to pretend, um, that we don't know that we have a problem with guns being imported. It's easy to pretend that, we don't have a problem of illegal immigration that is out of control. It's easy to look the other way and pretend that it's not happening. Only problem with that is, while you got your head stuck in the sand like the ostrich, the problem just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And then you decide to pull your head out of the sand one day, and you gotta stick it right back in because you are overwhelmed by what you found when you pull it out. So, I think we gotta stop being hypocrites in this country, man. I went all a long way to say it, but that's what I'm trying to say. We need to stop with the hypocrisy. What are your thoughts, Shelley?
I agree. Like she was mentioning, the problem goes a long way. I wasn't quite able to hear everything that you were saying, but the problem really goes quite a way back, because you and how much of it that we were addressing. Because I want to draw a reference to the Alden Scott case, and he was exhibiting problems from the age of 10, and he was abandoned by his parents. He was neglected by society, and it just developed. It just grew into a worse situation that eventually end up in the system and committing more serious crimes and so forth, and eventually end up dead. But how much of the problem that we are dealing with before it gets to the point where it's out of control? Do we, and going back to the incident at Grace last evening, where Pastor Lyle had to close the facility. I mean, it may not have been the best solution, but how do we address these problems, and what action do we take? Do we condemn the church for making that decision, or do we support them and look at their point of view? And we have to really look at what's happening today. These kids, if you can go on a church property and open fire without concern or consideration for the church, without consideration for human life or no fear of God, does that say to the church it's okay, you need to continue to keep the door open? Or does the church look at the situation as it is today and take a different approach? Not just to say working with the guys, but protecting them, because the church needs protection today as well. So, Michelle, it's a funny situation that we find ourselves in terms of how do we address these problems.
Well, I'll tell you what my church does. I attend Bible Truth Ministries, where Pastor Ellison Greenslade is the pastor, and it is almost like the church has adopted that neighborhood where we are. And we whenever we have events where we do a lot of like family events. When I say family events, where the whole church family comes together, like on a holiday, for instance, and we will do, they'll have like free food, and it's just a fun time playing games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids in that neighborhood, they're all there. We adopted that neighborhood, and it's come to the point now where they ain't gonna let nothing happen to that church. That kind of way, because they feel like a part of the family. They don't necessarily come to the doors every Sunday, but we have embraced the people of that neighborhood. And I think that goes a long way in how the church is seen,
but
by these kids. Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, but Michelle, the churches throughout many communities have embraced the youngsters in around them, because in my community, my church, even though sometimes I get on the pulpit and I say, look, you all need to get out of the four walls and go. And we have outreach ministries. We have groups within the areas and so on. But the church, let's not lay the blame at the door of the church, because they have programs. They have been reaching out within the various communities, trying to reach these young guys. Even the police, because we have what they have divisional police areas, where I'm a part of the South Central Division, and we come under Superintendent Dr. Chaswell Hanna, and they have very active programs with the youngsters in the different areas, and they've been trying. And you can try, and you can do so much. They have partnership with the churches in the South Central Division, and they go and they implement these programs. The kids, they gather on the park, tempers flare, and anything was happening. But what was amazing, and I want to just go back, when a kid who's on the park playing with the other kids, and he leaves out of anger, and he returns with a gun.
Yeah,
that's serious, because he always had that killing intention, that to always go to that gun when I get angry and kill whomever.
Listen,
so
girl,
that
somebody sent me a video of, and this wasn't in the Bahamas, this was in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
This child could not have been older than 5 or 6 years old. And somebody's interviewing him. Huh? Somebody's interviewing him. And she says to him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And this child, dead serious.
Guns.
I want to be a murderer. She said, a murderer? Yeah, I want to be a murderer. She says, why? Because I like killing. And he went on to explain how he enjoys killing. Now, I don't know if he figured killing them like he kills on these video games or whatever. And I just want to murder everybody. I want to be a murderer. So she was like, even me? Well, no, you didn't really give me anything. And not my teachers either, but everybody else.
Everybody else.
5.
And he was very fluent with it. He was very articulate. I'm like, he knew exactly what he was saying.
Yes.
He wasn't hesitant or anything. He knew what he was saying.
So what is going on in the life of that child and the lives of the children here in the Bahamas, who you make me vex, I going for my gun. Back in the day when I was growing up, you might go pick up one rock or one bottle or something, you fight and you live to fight another day.
Michelle, you better realize rocks don't fight it. No, they're not the weapon of choice nowadays.
No, I mean, nowadays they ain't looking to fight no other day. They're just looking to end your life.
Mm-hmm. And you're so afraid to really say, because you don't know who have a gun nowadays. You really don't know who have a gun, who was gonna pull a gun on you and just end your life senselessly. And that's the choice people are making today. It's sad, because young kids, the police said there were juveniles involved in Quentin McKinsey's murder. There's a juvenile, it's an unfortunate thing that what we face with in this country, the guns are getting in the wrong hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were talking about it earlier today. A child, a teenager who goes home and gets a gun and returns to a park and open fire. What is happening in the home? How is it that the family don't know what's going on? This child is in possession of a gun.
Easy access to a gun. First of all,
how did they get access?
What is most likely illegal. But second of all, even if you decide to have an illegal weapon in the house, why does a child have access to that so easily?
Exactly. So there are lots of questions and there are lots of, answers, but we can go on and talk about the problems and we see the census killing every day and we report on it and we count the numbers. And I hate to say we've had 58 murders for the year. I just don't believe in that, because we're counting human souls. We're counting persons, counting potential, could have been potential fathers and husbands.
Real people with real families, real
Yeah,
loved ones.
right. Exactly. So when does it stop, and where do we begin to affect change? To bring about some change in the minds of our young people, to foster good family relations, community relations, to see how we can work with these persons, because they're getting younger and younger every day. We're now in the teenage grouping where we're seeing young kids committing crimes. We don't hear of that in the Bahamas, but it's becoming more prevalent now, that we need to find a way to deal with it. And quite frankly, we don't want to be reporting on it every day.
Nope.
We can't.
Nope, not at all. We don't want to be reporting on it any day. We would prefer that we not have to report these kinds of things. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to switch gears, because guess what, Shelley? The House of Assembly was hot this past week. Oh, man, we had to call the fire engine for them in there. So we're going to talk about some of the rows, plural, that took place in the House of Assembly this week and what they was rowing about. Some of it does affect you. So stay with us. This is GPS, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to TGIF Open Line Show on the Global Paradigm Shift, GPS. Michelle Malcolm along with Shelley Lewis. And we, of course, are talking about the week that was and would love to hear from you. Our telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and our WhatsApp line is 824-9952. Now, House of Assembly, plenty this past week. I mean, and there was, they must have had goat pepper for lunch. That's all I could say, because there was a lot of rowing back and forth. And one of the heated exchanges came after the current chair, responsible for beaches and parks, raised some questions about the way that beaches and parks was being run under the previous administration, and that led to a bit of a war of words.
Spewing allegations against former executive chairman of the Bahamas Public Parks and Beaches Authority and St. Barnabas Member of Parliament Shannon Cartwright, current chairman Mikel Barnaby, in his contribution to the 2022-2023 budget debate, noted that he discovered numerous alleged unpaid debts.
Many contractors came knocking after we took office. Many of them claimed that they were trying to be paid for years, only to be told by the higher ups that they would be sorted, but never happened. The contractors provided letters and text messages. We are attending to those issues, Madam Speaker. Fifthly, the authority's equipment was in a state of unimaginable neglect. Madam Speaker, of the 17 Skags and Bush hogs, only 2 were operational. These machines are the ride-on lawn mowers used to clean New Providence. There were no maintenance records of these machines, no proper records of maintenance of the weed whackers, leaf blowers, and lawn mowers, which are essential tools of the authority. Sixthly, all of the authority's trailers were inoperable. Flat tires, broken axles, missing and removed parts, you name it.
Now, on a point of order, Cartwright insisted that he raised the issue of the authority's underfunding while he was in office.
During my time as executive chairman, we would have added to the fleet of at the authority. We would have increased the fleet of the bush hogs. We tried to operate a maintenance schedule as best as we can. It's a constant grind, Madam Speaker, a constant grind. And I would hope, Madam Speaker, and not to suggest that the honourable member is trying to do anything other than trying to state what he sees. But the truth is that the authority has been constantly challenged. Why, Madam Speaker? We know why. We know why, because we know that the monies at the authority has been used predominantly for one thing. For one thing. We know what it is. We know what it is, the roadside program. All right? So a lot of the monies has gone towards political patronage, right? Madam Speaker, the point that I'm making is, right? Come on, let's not insult the Bahamian people. My point is that the majorities of the funds of the authority from it was started in 2014, right? 2014. You're there now, so fix it, right? Right. So in 2014, it was established. The authority was under budgeted. That's why in the 2016-2017 budget, under the PLP, it used its budget, 74% of its budget in 3 months. It went from 15 million to 26.1 million.
Well, in response, Barnaby insisted there were stark differences between what was allotted and what was actually spent. Back in November, Barnaby revealed in the House of Assembly that the authority took on some $20 million in excess for additional obligations in the months leading up to the general election in September, a move he labeled as a clear sign of electioneering.
The authority at that particular time, which came about in 2015, was in its infancy stages, so obviously there were some growing pains. When we got to 2017, and having an able, smart, articulate, honorable member of parliament out there, we expected for things to be a little bit different. But this is where I found it. This is where I found it, Madam Speaker. and this is what we have to deal with, and so we'll deal with it. We were just speaking the facts, though. These are just the facts.
Barnaby also revealed that inspectors complained of their cars constantly breaking down and having to carpool. And on another point of order, Cartwright explains the issues surrounding those vehicles.
Since 2019, in 2019 to when we left office, I would have reached out to the Ministry of Finance about vehicles, much needed vehicles, constantly. Okay, constantly. But we were told by the Ministry of Finance there were no vehicles. So again, when the member says something, he needs to put it in context and not suggest that it was neglect. Put it in context. At least say that the honorable member would have made an endeavor to try to get the vehicles. Say that. If it's not about politics.
Last year, it was revealed that the authority decided to terminate all existing contracts following the completion of what OPM Press Secretary Clint Watson described as a jaw-dropping audit. That audit revealed several irregularities related to the issuance of contracts. The former executive chairman maintains, however, that he has done nothing wrong.
Ah, boy, here we go again.
So, Michelle, let me first and foremost say it's a sore subject.
Okay, because?
It's a sore subject because personally, what is being said in Parliament is not all true.
In regards to what?
And, in regards to contracts and everything else. And it is a matter, a legal matter right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to approach that cautiously, because I'm one of the persons, along with several others, who were caught up in that situation. You know, having worked with several young persons holding a contract that serviced persons. And to date, based on that audit report since October last year, and having paid a promise to pay, what is this, October, it's almost 9, how many months that is? October to now is about, what, 8 months?
October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 9 months.
9 months. Honestly, quite frankly, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to read an audit report and to effect change or do whatever that needs to be done. You can come with all this talk and everything, but at the end of the day, when persons are severed from contractual agreements or whatever, you know, the government, which oversees an agency that's responsible for labor issues in the country, the settling of labor issues, the government is in breach of it. Because, you know, 9 months later, and you're telling persons who have already completely done the work, you've already replaced those contracts, persons should have been paid. You know, every day they go to Parliament and they say the same thing over and over. Yes, whatever irregularities, you have a department that's overseeing all of them. You have a board. You know, come straight to the people. You heard what he said in that insert. There are persons who came with contracts outstanding prior to. I know of a young man who held a contract way before. I remember that there were contracts that were being paid even under Shannon Dawn Cartwright's chairmanship that were existed prior to coming into office. So well, it's a continuation of.
This is a recurring problem, clearly. Now we have a caller on the line. I don't want to lose the caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Madam Michelle.
Hi.
How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I am. You know, it's a pleasure. I listen to you. I've been on sabbatical. First, I must respect your protocol. Is this an open line show or what?
It is. Yes.
Thank you so much. I called because of this graceful sister that you have on the line. I don't know if she's in studio. And I said, along with you, as we listen to you today, and we have an observation. But first, I want to get this off my chest. I want to salute a great Bahamian woman rather, who served this country with grace and excellence. And today I think they are honoring her for 40 years. Her name is Dame Janet Bostwick. We want to say from our end as men, there are many more great Bahamian women who have served, but this is her day. And we want to say we love her, we appreciate her. She served with grace and excellence. Having said that, Madam Michelle Malcolm, I would like for you to battle this and your friend on the next line. Song very intellect. We have an observation. But what I see yesterday in the terms of service, and here, I'm getting old now. I'm beginning to ask myself this question. Is this gender equality misguiding some of our sisters? And what do I mean? I believe that there's a spirit of competing, and there must be a winner. But you can't want to believe in the philosophy or this liberal views of gender equality and want to compete and don't want to get hit. Somebody have to win. And I'm not promoting or supporting no hitting physically, because I have two beautiful daughters who give me some beautiful grandchildren. But I am of belief that this gender equality is going to cause a lot of sisters to lose their grace. And they're losing their grace fast, because gain the power of a woman, you can't expect to talk to a man like a child or talk down to him and emasculate him, and you want to compete and don't want to get hit. I would like to hear your two beautiful women to respond to that. I believe this gender equality that women are searching for, they're being misguided in some cases. I finish. Hello?
Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was muted. If you don't mean hit literally, please use another word, because it sounds like you are saying that if women don't, I'm paraphrasing here, know their place and can talk to a man and he kind of expect to be hit physically. If that's not what you mean, you need to clarify that dead quick, because if that's what you mean, I can jump all over you like white on rice. So clarify that, please.
My sister, you mean you're not going to fight today? We're not going to fight today. And can I speak?
I listening.
Okay, you listening? Okay, don't shout. I am only just saying I believe this liberal views that they are sending for gender equality, I believe some of our sisters are misguided. And I'm saying to you is this. I have no problem with one having a gift. I have no problem with one executing their gift. You are a noted journalist in this country, one of the best. That's your gift. I can't get upset. But remember, I believe by using the power of grace, you serve well within your gift. You didn't compete, you serve. But when you decide to compete, there must be a winner. That's what I believe. You there?
I listening.
I finished. When you decide to compete, there must be a winner.
I try to get back to.
Many of us, like Janet Bostwick, she compete in the political arena with grace. You got Melanie Griffin, compete with grace. Ivy Dumas served with grace. The great Margaret Pittland served this country with grace. There were no spirit of competing. It seems to me like there's a shift in our country where our sisters want to compete but don't want to get hit.
What do you mean by get hit?
Huh?
What do
Okay,
you mean by don't want to get
okay,
hit? What do you mean by that?
let me say this like this. I know use this name, always use this analogy. Every church you go in, there's some what the message is worthless man and man is dog. That is clear in this country. And I agree that we have some weak alpha male worthless man. I agree with that. Because we do have some. But I am confused hearing this message so much. Why do our sisters lay down and catch fleas? You competing?
Caller,
You calling man dog, worthless, and all. You calling man these names, but then you still want to catch fleas? That confused me. I don't understand that.
Okay. I just trying to figure out where you're going because you got
know
me lost.
exactly where I go.
I don't know because you keep skirting around the question what I ask you. I ask you, do you mean hit physically? And if not, you need to change that word.
I said I don't mean physically.
But I changed the word.
My sister, Madam Malcolm. Do you believe when you decide to compete, there should be a winner? Yes or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I rest my case. Since you said there must be a winner, I rest my case. Okay.
Anyhow, caller, thanks for calling because I ain't sure where it come from and I ain't know where it going. Now, with regard to Janet Boswick, you sort of rearranged my show because I was going to send my congratulations and thanks to Janet Boswick at the end of the show to talk about, the role that she played being the first female to be elected to parliament in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and, served as an inspiration for many. So you sort of rearranged my show. But since you brought it up, huge congratulations to Mrs. Bostwick, this being her 40th anniversary of that historic moment when she became the first female in the Bahamas to be elected to the House of Assembly. She broke that glass ceiling that had been over us for so long and showed that it was possible for a woman to compete. So yeah, Shelly, I see you got two devices up. Okay, we have you back. All right, let's get back on track because I ain't sure where he was going with that one. And I mean, he's a regular, not a regular, but he has called several times before with that same argument, and I don't know what triggered it today. But anyway, so getting back to what we were talking about, Shelley, prior to him coming on about women competing, and I just don't like the fact that he used the word hit, even though he say he don't mean physically, because some stupid people out there who didn't do very well in comprehension in school. And they can take that mean, well, if you want to compete, I got a right to slap you down. Not today. We ain't having that conversation today.
Not today.
So getting back to the beaches and parks situation, and Kelly, you were saying that it's a little, there's more to it.
It's a sensitive thing. Like, it's more to it than that. Because I feel personally that after 9 months back and forth, all those outstanding contracts should have been settled. Considering those same contracts which beaches and parks canceled in December, they have been replaced by new contract holders, which leaves persons who were holding them previously haven't been paid. And if you want to get before the House of Assembly where persons cannot speak for themselves, it's unfair because what is it they're saying to persons who are still owing or owed for contracts that were held prior to them being canceled in December. I mean, a lot has been said, but specifically to that, issue in terms of outstanding payment of contracts, you can go on and on, but you're paying people for those same contracts that were renewed, but you're not paying the persons who held them previously. And those contracts went straight through to June 30th of this year. but they were canceled in December. You know, they had the clause that says 2 weeks notification of cancellation. But when you talk about canceling someone's contract, the Labor Department would say they're entitled to severance pay, they're entitled to pay whatever is outstanding. So all the back and forth in the House of Assembly, all they have to do is pay the persons that are owed outstanding contracts. That's all.
Well, here's my take on this whole thing, Shelley. We have heard, at least I have heard, and I'm not talking about, I'm not attributing what I'm about to say to any one particular administration, because apparently this is something that happens or has happened, regardless of which
You're
administration
breaking,
was in
Michelle.
place. Okay, I'm not sure why you can't hear me, but can you hear me any better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm
There's
saying
a
is,
feedback.
I think that might be on your end. What I'm saying is this.
Now I can hear you.
From what I understand, from there have been, this problem has existed for successive administrations, where they use the beaches and parks contracts to reward, not all of them, but in some cases, reward their supporters. So I've heard of cases where, one person get 4 or 5 contracts to clean areas, and what they do, they hire some immigrant, pay them nothing, they sitting on their backside and collecting money, and it's a way to reward your supporters. That is what has been happening. Now, clearly, we need to fix that problem, because it can't be where the country could be saving money if you were to just have a cleaner system, as opposed to you giving out 1 million contracts because you're trying to appease your supporters. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Can you hear me?
Michelle, you're breaking up, but I can generally, basically what you're saying is that these contracts have been used as a political tool, to pay supporters. Yes, I agree. There needs to be some revamping of the system where it can be more transparent and economically viable for the government and the people of the Bahamas. Because the beaches and parks also has a department that oversees cleaning up roadsides and so forth. A lot of these contracts were given out throughout the communities. Yes, there needs to be more regulation of those contracts. And yes, I've heard also in some cases that more persons held 2, 3, 4 or more contracts at the same time. And yes, if the new board headed by Chairman Michael Barnaby is working to make it more viable and make it more accountable, fine. But at the end of the day, why is it taking this length of time and nothing is being said to the persons who are entitled to know what's going on? You're paying new contract holders, but you're not settling with outstanding contract holders. That's all.
Understood. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Great. How you doing?
I'm good, and good afternoon to your guest. Yes, I too want to congratulate.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I too want to congratulate the Honorable Janet Bostwick on her 40th anniversary. It's funny, she's celebrating the same year that my husband and I got married 40 years ago. So double congratulations to her. But I just want to touch on what the lady is speaking of in reference to Mr. Barnaby, Chairman Barnaby, and the contract issue. I hear what you're saying about persons not being reimbursed for the contracts that they were discontinued that they were holding.
Mm-hmm.
And but I thought that it gotten cleared up thus far, because he had reported. I remember he and I think it's very important that ministers and chairmen and whoever, when they're handling our monies, to report back to the Bahamian people. And so for him to bring a report and go over item by item, or go over and let us know what they uncovered, or what they found. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see what the problem is with that. You understand? The former chairman is springing up very quickly and responding, and is saying and trying to explain exactly what transpired under his tenure. And I think that's the way it should be. It appears as if sometimes, in some cases, some people they get offended when persons bring up what went down. I remember it was reported that the contracts that were issued went over millions of dollars over the budget that was allocated for those contracts.
Yep. Millions.
Millions, and we gliding over that. So therein lay the problem. I don't know what happened. Like Mr. Cartwright, he mentioned yesterday. He touched on when he took that position, was he met in place, right? He didn't even go into details. But who was he going to bring if he didn't break it down to the Bahamian people? If this chairman is doing that, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, the monies that were supposed to be paid, I'm out to those persons. They had to find those millions to pay those people, right? I heard the Minister of Works, he interjected when I think the former Prime Minister went under his diatribe, and he responded about so many contracts and the big contracts. I'm not talking about these $1,600, the 2,000 or whatever contracts.
Right.
I'm speaking about the millions of dollars in contracts that were issued to persons that Mr. Cartwright didn't even. I guess, but he had to. It was placed before him. It wasn't even his issue. You understand me? And he cried shame that they had put the former chairman in such a funny position. You understand? So all of these things are coming. I don't know. We need to know. We need to know whoever it is. Whoever it is, the former administration took people before the courts for like $5,000 and different accusations or whatever before the courts. So I don't see why. It seems as if to me, and I could be mistaken, that when you call certain former ministers or chairmen or whatever's name or their ministry, and you start bringing these things out, or what it appears, what you uncovered, or what you're trying to do, people seem to take offense. The thing is, the bottom line: pay the people, get the people who worked, the people who have, and another thing, the contracts have not been issued out for this budget yet for July. That's a whole new set of contracts that would be issued out and people be paid for. So persons who are who because I think they let the contracts run out or whatever like that. So, but pay the people the money. But these people need to be accountable for whatever they do when they sit up in that place and they take a sweat. The people of the Bahamas, we want to know exactly what's going on. Who get offended? Who get mad too bad? You mad too bad? What do you say? You mad too bad? Too sad?
I hear you. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, ladies.
You too. I agree with the
Thank
caller.
you too.
You may recall that when he was in the House of Assembly, Reese Chipman repeatedly asked for the audited financials on and none of them were presented. And I'm talking about audited financials, which is different from a report. So it's not like, and this is something that they are mandated to do by law. So it's not like it should, that they have an excuse for it not to have been happening, because it's by law supposed to be tabled in the
It
House
should
of
be done.
Yeah. So, listen, as long as you allow people to get away with mess, they can get away with it. They're going to get away with it. And we're not talking a couple of dollars overrun. We're talking millions. I think the report showed that it was already $20 million overrun, and was on track to be overrun another 8 in this next. Come on, man. Come on. That ain't no little bit of money. especially considering what our economy, the shape that our economy is in right now, the number of Bahamian people who are hurting. Thank God that this administration decided to do away with that emergency order foolishness and has opened up the economy again so people can get back to work, you know. But it's going to take a while for us to get back to the point where we were prior to the pandemic. People are still hurting. And when you hear these numbers being tossed around about how much money was squandered, come on, man. You know, so, boy. But again, we have to put pressure on these people to follow the law. It can't be that.
But Michelle, that much I agree. You know.
Huh? Say that again, Shelley.
No, I say I agree. We need to put. I'm saying I agree. We need to put systems in place where it can be more transparency and accountability, because you know it is the taxpayers' money. You know, but moving forward, you know, I'm saying. Just come to the people and say what is what. You know, they have the floor of the House of Assembly, but there are still some people out there, you know, and what they're saying, it does not matter to the ordinary person. Just say what the situation is, because persons like, you know, seeing different out here in the community as to what they're saying in the House of Assembly, even when it comes to people hurting. Yeah, there are some people out here who are hurting, and the picture that they're painting in the House of Assembly is a far cry from what is going on out here in the community. And it's not red, green, black, or blue.
Yeah.
It's about people.
I agree. All right, we're going to take the final break of the show. When we come back, more from the hot House of Assembly sessions this past week. The speaker run hot on them, Shelley. She run hot. we got to talk about it on the other side of the break. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this TGIF Open Line show. Every Friday, we give you an opportunity to sound off. Let us know what's on your mind. And the telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271. One more time, 326-0271 or 326-0272, 326-0272. And the WhatsApp number to send us a message, if you so desire, is 824-9952. Now, before we go back to what took place in the House of Assembly this past week, this news just in, well, not just in, but this is recent announcement that, where did it go? I'm trying to find it real quick. The United States will soon eliminate the requirement for U.S.-bound air travelers to present a negative COVID-19 test before departure. The elimination of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's requirements will go into effect Sunday, June 12th at 12:01 a.m. According to international reports, U.S. officials have advised that the requirement could be reinstated if necessary. That's an interesting development, Shelley.
Yeah, Michelle, I saw that earlier today, and I was just looking over the scripts that were sent to me for the newscast. And it's good news for many persons because that was sort of a challenge, having to do that test to go into the United States. And I don't know, the information indicated that it will apply straight, because some states make their own decisions and so forth. And, it may not apply to upstaters, it may to just across the board to Florida. But it is certainly good news. And, we see that this virus is sort of relaxing. Numbers are going back down. The death rate has certainly went down and so forth. So, gradually we see things happening and so forth. And now in the midst of all of that, there is another announcement that there is a new variant right over in Florida. So how do you balance that and say make a decision to discontinue the testing, and then on the rise you have another variant that's they're saying that is more contagious? So these are the stories that we're trying to follow and keep it on top of to see just how. And in that release it also said if the need arises to make the reverse adjustment or the adjustments or so forth. But so there's some of the things that we're following and see just how they're working out.
Now, I am wondering whether or not that will be extended to whether that will include vaccination, because all it said was COVID test. So in other words, do you still have to be vaccinated to travel, but just not have to present with a negative test? I'm watching to see what that will mean as far as that is concerned. Yeah, and I'm sure they'll. If and when there's any change in that regard, they will let us know for sure. All right, so House of Assembly was hot this past week. Speaker of the House.
Do we talk about the Speaker?
Well, yeah, we can talk about the Speaker, Patricia DeVoe. She had some gold pepper for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. She was hot, so she ran hot on them. But before she ran hot on the parliamentarians, she ran hot on the director of NEMA because the tornadic activity impacted her constituency.
Getting a lot of feedback.
And she claims that I'm not sure why, Shelley. She claims that she called the director of NEMA, and he pretty much tell her, check the Ministry of Works. Anyway, she was not too happy about the response that she got. Let's listen to this.
I reached out to Commander Russell, and Commander Russell, I don't know if he was home busy watching the game because I heard he had a game last night, but I could say that he was not there. And that is who we have to reach out for emergency response. And I am terribly, terribly disturbed by that.
The Bamboo Town MP emphasized she won't mince words when it comes to defending the interests of her constituents. The speaker had a clear message for Captain Russell and other NEMA officials.
You need a 9-to-5 job. Because I called 7, 8 o'clock in the night, you telling me Ministry of Works was already on the ground. They were already on the ground. So the only persons that weren't present was NEMA. So I don't know. They talk about Jesus yesterday fixing it. Fix it, Jesus.
Miles LaRota, the minister who has responsibility for NEMA, then gave details about the conversation he had with Captain Russell.
I had 2 conversations with the director of NEMA. I conveyed your disappointment. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I let it be known that there were other agencies that turned up, in particular Ministry of Works, and also the team from Social Services. I was advised, and I'm just giving the public the record of what happened, by Commander Russell that the tornadic activity was in the Cowpen Road area, and that's where NEMA had focused, that he was not aware that Bamboo Town had any concerns. That was the message he conveyed to me.
Really?
I would have said to him that in speaking to other members, there were at least 3 communities that was affected.
Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper and the leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, also chiming in with comments on the matter.
Highest possible levels.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Not to belabor the issue, but I want to ensure that the people of the Bahamas understands that our thoughts and prayers are with them, firstly. And secondly, we are a government that cares, and therefore the response will be swift and sure in terms of seeking how the government and all of its agencies might assist.
To the best of my recollection, NEMA is a coordinating agency. So I just caution colleagues in all of your considerations that if the relevant agencies that need to render immediate assistance are on site, whether NEMA in the person of Captain Russell appears or not is secondary. What is primary is to make sure those agencies that must touch those persons who are affected, that they show up.
All right, Shelley, let's talk about this name situation real quick before we zone in on the speaker. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with Michael, or do you think the speaker was warranted in her?
Well, Michelle, as we speak, I'm editing that news script right now that was sent from the newsroom, and Captain Russell responded to that. The speaker had the advantage of the floor of the House of Assembly having launched that attack on him. I'm not saying Captain Russell was altogether right, but what Pintard is saying is that the relevant agencies which make up NEMA, they were present. So NEMA, Captain Russell himself doesn't necessarily have to be present as long as the relevant agencies respond to whatever situation that was happening in those areas. NEMA was represented. And, in his release, he is saying an assessment and emergency services was sent to the areas in question, Bamboo Town and Cowpet Road and so forth. And they made another assessment report that evening. And even urban renewal and social services, they were all present. So sometimes we get overwhelmed and sometimes we get emotional, and and what from those videos that we saw, it does raise some concern. They were frightening, and the extent of the damage that to those persons' homes,
Mm.
They would want quick response.
Yeah.
So all of that back and forth, I'm hearing that those agencies were present doing an assessment.
Right.
And the bottom line, at the end of the day, let's just hope they get this assistance that they need. Because we are in the hurricane season, and we're seeing these weather patterns.
Yeah.
That what the season can potentially be like. So we don't need that back and forth in the House of Assembly as who was there, whether Captain Russell was there. We just want to know that the agencies that can provide the assistance.
Yeah. We have a
Yeah.
caller on the line. I laughed because I thought you meant when you say we get emotional, I thought you were referring to the speaker. So I'm glad you clarified that. But we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Hello, caller. You still there?
You're breaking too.
Jason, is the caller still on the line?
If you'd like to make a call.
No, we lost that caller. Okay. All right. Caller, call back 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line is 824-9952. Now, the speaker.
I will not allow you to try to entrap me.
Wait, I played that too soon. The speaker was not very happy with a member of the House who tried to insinuate that, who suggested that she was not being balanced in her approach. She had some choice words, and here they are.
I will not allow you to try to entrap me. Members in here break rules all the time. And I give everyone latitude. We are in lively debate, where members would go and I would allow them the latitude to explain their points on both sides. So if I govern by the rule, let me tell you something. You will be handcuffed and can't barely say a word in here. Because everything that you would like to say, you would have to write to me for it. And I could sit on it for the next month if I want to, when we are out of debate. But I am saying that I give the members latitude to speak. So don't you get up and tell me anything about this rule book. Because when I took this chair, I learned this from page to page. Because it was y'all who tell me to go and learn it. If you don't recall, check with the Hansard. So I did. So now if you want me to tighten my belt and apply the rules to all sides, then baby, I can do that. But I want y'all to be able to give lively debate so that the public and along with me can have a true and fair understanding of the points that you're making. But don't do that to me. Don't insult the intelligence of this chair.
Speaker, run hot. Do not insult.
Don't insult the intelligence of this chair.
Don't think it's a game. What?
Michelle.
Go ahead, Shirley. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I think it's a bit much. I'm left dumbfounded.
While you searching for words, let's go back to the caller. The caller called back. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, wonderful. Who is worse, the speaker now or Mutri?
I can let you answer your own question. You ain't gonna trap me.
And Michelle, another thing. Our church on Carlton Road, Gospel Light Baptist Church got hit by the tornado. And Nema was there with the top for our church.
Okay.
So she got to be careful. They were there, and they brought the top, and our man was there and some other men to put the top over the portion that got destroyed.
Okay.
So Russell don't have to be there himself. Like Tindad said, the other agency and everything, and she made it so personal. But the other agency was there. So you got to be big enough now, woman enough now, and apologize. Because I didn't know another tornado hit until later on.
Right.
But they were there in the area. And so you gotta be careful. And someone else said too, oh, the weather, don't say tornado will come in. All this week, when they were giving the weather, tornado effects could happen. They were saying it.
Yeah, they were.
They were. So people gotta be careful, and the speaker gotta be careful, very, very careful, because I don't know whose voice or Mutri. Thank you.
Yeah, caller. Thanks for calling. You trap C-Pod. You ain't gonna mix me up. You ain't gonna entrap me. Like how the speaker say, don't try to entrap me. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Shelley? You had a chance to
Michelle, I'm still trying. Let's make that the news item of the week. Don't I can have you handcuffed in here and shut you up for the rest of the.
You'll be waiting for a month.
And she like resort to calling another politician baby.
Yeah.
It's like, Michelle, my thing is that, and they always say, we got to take into consideration when we put women in certain positions because we're emotional. Men, they make decisions based on reasons and logics. We do it on emotions. And we see a lot of emotions coming out in the House of Assembly with regards to the speaker. I feel like I could throw the script up in the air in the newsroom, but when the producer says,
Shelley, hold on a second. We got a caller, and this one is a cell phone caller. So let's take this call real quick. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah, I was chiming in this on this station.
Right.
I want to say something about the contracts, please. I had a contract under the PLP and the F&M government. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten paid yet from the PLP government for this section because they stop it. But this even ain't no bunch of money what they owing us. You know what I mean? $2,000, $3,000. I was doing a contract for less than $1,000. You see what I'm saying? And I can't get my money, man. That's all I wanted to say. And one more thing with Captain Russell.
Mm.
I served under him, and he's a good man. That's all I have to say with him. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Yeah, Shelley. Now you better be careful, Shelley, talking about emotion and men and what you call it, logic and all them kind of things. So you better watch your mouth before. Well, I know who can like what you say. My friend who always is called talking about women don't need to be competing. So anyhow, but speaker run hot. Y'all cause the speaker to get vexed. Y'all around here talking about she need to follow the rules, and she studied that book from cover to cover. Watch your mouth, lest you'll have to ask permission to say something in here. Yeah, that was very interesting indeed. Yeah, speaker run hot. I can leave that one right there because I want to run hot on me. So I can leave that one right there. I ain't touching that. I want to spend the last couple minutes of the show talking about the contributions of the one dame, Janet Bostwick. Shelley seems to be having connectivity issues. Her device is dropping in and out. So hopefully she'll be able to get back on. But apparently we have another caller on the line. Okay, caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Lady Malcolm and guest.
Hi.
Yeah, very interesting show. But for some reason, and I agree with your guest, there are too much emotions creeping out from under this lady's bonnet. It's all kind of emotions. And first of all, her first mistake is that rules state that you cannot lambaste or criticize somebody outside of the House of Assembly that cannot come in the House and defend themselves. That's the first.
I don't know if the rules say that. Because they do that all the time. I don't know if the rules say that.
Yeah, that's what the rules say. You can't do that. They can't defend themselves.
Yes, Michelle.
The person you're doing.
Well, child, they've been doing that from the time I know myself, covering the House of Assembly as a young woman.
Yeah, that's not the rules, though. And then second of all, by her own admission, she said she tried to reach the captain and she didn't. So if you couldn't reach the captain, you could find him guilty, and you ain't have to try it yet.
She didn't say she couldn't reach him.
Yeah, she said she couldn't reach him.
She said she couldn't reach him.
He said that the Ministry of Works was on the ground.
He should have been there, and he needed 9 to 5 job and all that foolishness. She wrong for that. So what like the previous caller said, she needs to be woman enough now to apologize. And because she is so emotional, they need to nip this in the bud now, and she needs to resign forthwith. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you so much for calling. You better watch out before she don't jump on you. Let me stop. Okay, last couple of minutes of the show, I want to pay homage to Dame Janet Bostwick. Like I said, the caller who spoke about her earlier, he sort of preempted what I wanted to do at the end of the show, which was to talk about her contribution. The fact that she was, in fact, the first female to enter the halls of Parliament as an elected member. And over the years, Janet, when I was a young reporter, Janet Bostwick was in the House of Assembly. And say what you like about her, whether or not you agreed with her, whether or not you were on the same side of the fence with her, she always brought passion to what she believed in. If she was for something, she was for that. You had no question as to what her position was. And I just want to say a huge congratulations to her, because it was a tremendous accomplishment. And she really, people like her, people like Dame Doris Johnson, really showed women in this country who had been supporting in the background for many, many years. Because if we look at the history of these political parties, it was those women who were frying fritters and doing everything in the background to help build up and promote these parties. But those two women showed that women can be a part of the development in the forefront, not only in the background. And so I just want to say a huge congratulations to her. 40 years, boy, time could fly. 40 years later. And I want to thank her for her contribution on behalf of all women of the Bahamas. And I can let you say a final word, Shelley.
Yeah. Michelle, I also want to extend congratulations to Dame Janet Bostwick. 40 years is a long time, and I'm glad to have been a part of those 40 years, like you as a young journalist, having covered her, when she was Attorney General and Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was always a pleasure having to sit with and interview her on numerous occasions, and cover her also in the House of Assembly. And perhaps some of that can rub off. Some that, and she's a woman of, who personifies integrity.
Yeah, we got to wrap
and
up.
all the
Shelley.
good things, and she has set the pace for women like us.
For sure. We have to wrap up because the Freeport show is about to kick in and we don't want to get knocked off the air. Thank you so much, Shelley. I'm looking forward to doing this every Friday with you, but we got to get off the air because we have a live Freeport show. So thanks so much to all of you who tuned in. This has been GPS, an open line show every Friday. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. We're out of here. Have a good and safe weekend. And we will see you next week right here on GPS. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.